Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In our last class, we discussed about the Biot-Savart law. So today we will discuss about an application of Biot-Savart law by considering a long filament that is placed along the z-axis, and we will determine the magnetic field intensity at a point by applying the Biot-Savart law. So we may illustrate the application of the Biot-Savart law by considering an infinitely long straight filament. This is actually an infinitely long straight filament that is placed along the z-axis. So we will select a differential length, and we know that a DC current I is flowing through this filament. So we have point 1, the source point, and we have point 2, the field point, at which we want to find the magnetic field intensity. So referring to figure 8.3, this is actually figure 8.3, we should recognize the symmetry of this field. No variation with z or with phi can exist. If we look at this figure, as we have placed the long filament, the infinitely long filament along the z-axis, so symmetry shows that there is no variation along the z-axis and along the phi. So we will select the point 2 in the z is equal to 0 plane. So this is actually our field point at which we want to find the magnetic field intensity. So point 2 at which we shall determine the field is therefore chosen in the z is equal to 0 plane. The field point R is therefore R is equal to rho a rho. It means that if we talk about the vector, so this is actually the field point, its vector is AR. So this is actually the field point, point 2. So its vector is R, and that is rho a rho. And this is the source point, and its vector is R dash. So R dash will be equal to Z dash AZ, RZ AZ. So this is actually the source point, and its vector is R dash. So R dash will be equal to Z dash AZ, and this is the field point. So its vector is R, so R will be equal to rho a rho if we consider the cylindrical coordinate system. So what will be this vector R from point 1 to point 2, the distance from the point 1 to point 2. So the vector R will be equal to R minus R dash. So the vector R will be equal to rho a rho minus Z dash AZ. And we know that its unit vector AR will be equal to the vector divided by its magnitude. So that will be equal to rho a rho minus Z dash AZ divided by under root rho square plus Z dash whole square. So that will be its unit vector. Because if the magnetic field intensity 8.2 is desired, so we need to find its unit vector AR, because at this point the magnetic field intensity is directly proportional to the product of the current and the differential length, and the sine of the angle between the differential length and the point at which we want to find the magnetic field intensity. So if we take the cross product, it will be equal to I dl cross AR divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R square, because at this point the magnetic field intensity is inversely proportional to the square of the distance from the differential length to the point at which the magnetic field intensity is desired. We have already discussed these things. So if the magnetic field intensity 8.2 is desired, so we must know about the unit vector AR. We must know about these vectors, and then we can easily find the unit vector AR. So the fuel point R is therefore R is equal to rho arrow, the source point R dash. This is actually the source point. The source point R dash is equal to G dash AZ, and therefore R12. This is actually the vector R12 from point 1 to point 2. So R12 will be equal to rho arrow minus Z dash AZ. So the unit vector AR12 will be equal to vector divided by its magnitude. We already found the vector that is equal to rho arrow minus Z dash AZ divided by its magnitude. So its magnitude will be equal to rho square plus Z dash whole square. Similarly, if we look at the differential length, so the differential length is along the Z axis, so DL will be equal to DZ dash AZ. If this is actually R dash, so dr dash RDL will be equal to dz dash AZ, because we are making this differential along the z-axis. We are taking this differential length along the z-axis, so dl will be equal to dz dash AZ. And equation 2, that was dh2 is equal to I dz2 cross AZ cross AR divided by 4 pi R square. That was actually equation number 2. So equation number 2 will become dh2 is equal to I dl cross AR. So I dl is equal to dz dash AZ cross AR. So AR is equal to rho arrow minus z dash AZ divided by 4 pi R square. So vector divided by its magnitude, so the denominator will become R cube. So it will be equal to rho square plus z dash square 3 by 2. dh2 is equal to I dl cross AR divided by 4 pi R square. So AR is equal to R divided by its magnitude. Already in the denominator we have R square multiplied by this R, so we will have R cube. So dh2 will be equal to I dz dash AZ cross vector divided by its magnitude, so divided by 4 pi R cube. Since the current is directed towards increasing values of z dash, so the limits are from minus infinity to plus infinity on the integral, because we have taken an infinitely long filament and the current is directed towards increasing values of z dash. And we have, if we integrate this equation, so we will get the total magnetic field intensity at point 2. So H2 will be equal to minus infinity to plus infinity I dz dash AZ cross rho arrow minus z dash AZ divided by 4 pi rho square plus z dash square whole 3 by 2. Now if we look at this equation, AZ cross arrow results in A phi. If we take the cross product of AZ and arrow, so it will give us I dz dash rho into A phi, because if we take the cross product of AZ and arrow, it will give us A phi. Similarly, I divided by 4 pi is constant, so we will take it out. So it will give us I divided by 4 pi, these are constants, and the integral of rho dz dash into A phi divided by rho square plus z dash square 3 by 2. Because AZ cross AZ results in 0, so this term will be 0. AZ cross arrow results in A phi, so we will get this component. Similarly, AZ cross AZ results in 0, so this term will go to 0, and we get the result H2 is equal to I divided by 4 pi and this thing. Now if we solve this integral, solving this integral is really an easy process. So if we solve this integral, or before solving the integral, if we look at this integral is actually a vector integral, not a scalar integral, because here we have a unit vector a phi. Now if we look at this unit vector, if this unit vector depends on the variables rho and z, then we cannot consider this unit vector as a constant because it is also a vector. Fortunately, this unit vector has a magnitude that is constant. Now if we look at the direction of this unit vector, we will see that the direction of this unit vector either depends on rho and z or not. So fortunately here in this case, this unit vector a phi do not depend on rho and z. So we can consider it a constant and we can take it out of the integral, and our integration will become a scalar integration. So at this point the unit vector a phi under the integral sign should be investigated because it is not always a constant, as are the unit vectors of the Cartesian coordinate system. A vector is constant when its magnitude and direction are both constant. The unit vector certainly has constant magnitude, but its direction may change. Here a phi changes with the coordinate phi but not with rho or z. As I already told you that the unit vector a phi depends upon the phi coordinate. A phi does not depend upon rho or z. So fortunately integration here is with respect to z dash, and a phi is a constant and may be removed from under the integral sign. So h2 will be equal to I rho a phi divided by 4 pi, because these things are constant, so we have written it out of the integral, and our integration is integral of dz dash divided by rho square plus z dash square whole 3 by 2. Now solution of this integral is really an easy process, and if we solve this integral, so we will get h2 is equal to I divided by 2 pi rho into a phi, and this is actually the final result. This is the magnetic field intensity at point 2 due to an infinitely long filament. Now if we look at the magnitude of the magnetic field intensity, so the magnetic field intensity is inversely proportional to rho. It means that the magnetic field intensity only depends upon the rho. If we move away from the filament, the magnetic field strength will decrease. If we move towards the filament, the magnetic field strength will increase. And remember that this magnetic field intensity is a function of phi. It is not a function of rho. It is a function of the magnitude of the magnetic field intensity is a function of rho. It means that the magnitude of the magnetic field intensity depends on rho only. As I already told you, if we move away from the filament, the magnetic field strength will decrease. If we move towards the filament, the magnetic field strength will increase. So the magnitude of the field is not a function of phi or z. It is only a function of rho, because it varies inversely as the distance from the filament. So the magnitude of the field is not a function of phi or z. It means that the magnitude of the magnetic field intensity do not depend on phi or z, and it varies inversely as the distance from the filament. The direction of the magnetic field intensity is circumferential. The direction of the magnetic field intensity is circumferential. It means that the magnetic field intensity has the phi component only. The direction is circumferential. So the streamlines are therefore circles about the filament. So if we look at this filament, so the magnitude of the magnetic field intensity actually depends upon this distance. If we move towards the filament, the magnetic field strength will increase. If we move away from the filament, the magnetic field strength will decrease. Similarly, at this point, the direction will be along the phi. So, if we consider this filament, the magnetic field intensity will be in the form of circles. It means that if we want to find the magnitude at this point, so the magnitude depends upon this distance and the direction will be like this. Similarly, if we want to find the magnetic field intensity at this point, so the magnitude depends upon this distance and the direction will be like this. So the whole magnetic field strength is in the direction of the circle, or generally we can say that the direction of the magnetic field intensity vector is circumferential. So this was the application of Biot-Savart law, and we found the magnetic field intensity at a point due to an infinitely long filament that was placed along the z-axis. If you have any question, you can ask. Thank you.